For the windows, I think we can do a similar thing as we did for the doors. I'd like to begin with a polygon plane and then extrude out to get the depth and then bring them back and angle them onto the door here. So let's begin with the front window here. I'll go to the side view and wireframe, and let's take a look right in here. So let's create a polygon plane that kind of matches the shape of this window, and then we'll extrude it out and put it in place. So let's press Ctrl A and create a polygon plane. I'll press RY90 to turn it. Let's hit G, bring it up, and we'll scale it down and begin getting it to the proper shape. So maybe I'll put it right in here. And it looks like my door here is a little bit wider. See how it's just a little bit wider here? That's okay. I'm just going to put mine right down here. I'll have that window be a little bit lower. But what I can do is, for the time being, go ahead and match it up the way it's supposed to be and then move it down when I need to. So I'll grab this point and put it here. Looks like this can move back like this. Yeah, and then this could probably move over here. This could go right down here. And then it looks like we're going to need another point to match up right here. So I'll press Ctrl R, create an edge, and then I'll just select this point here and move it out to here. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've done here. I'll go ahead and bring it out. So there it is. That's what we've got so far. Now the trick is to go ahead and extrude it out so it looks something like this. I think I want to go ahead and add this little edge right here. So I'll begin with that. And to do that, I think what I'll do is just hit the I key to create an inset and then begin extruding this out like that. All right, so let's go ahead and tab into edit mode, hit the 3 key for face mode, and I'll select these. And then let's go ahead and press I, and let's drag in just a little bit like this, let's say. About like that. And then let's press the E key to extrude out. E, and I'll pull straight out like this. So maybe something about like that, let's say. Okay, and then I'll inset again. I push in just a bit. And ultimately, we're going to have a piece of glass that we're not going to be able to see through here. We're just going to have it kind of bluish and reflective, because this particular vehicle isn't going to have an interior that you can actually go into and see. So I think what I'll do is just maybe extrude in just a little bit, push in, and then I'll hit I again, then maybe I'll hit E again and pull out just a bit. Let's see how that works. Yeah, just to give us some definition between the window and the frame here. All right, in addition, I think we also need a little bit of a lip here on the back. So let's go to edge mode here, and I'll go ahead and click that. Alt click that, and let's hit E, and I'll click. And let's go over to our move tool here, and I'll just pull back in the x-axis like that. Just, well, you know, I'll go ahead and pull back like this just so we have plenty to work with. Because now we need to actually put it onto the door. To do that, I think I'm going to move this origin point so I can tilt it and move it based on the very back edge. So if I tab into edit mode again and select that edge, now let's move the cursor to the center of this selection, Shift S and cursor to selected, which is the 2 key. So Shift S 2. Now let's tab back into object mode and move this pivot point to the 3D cursor. So object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And there we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move it back. I'll go to the front view and let's just pull it back like this. And I'm going to hit the R key and tilt it a bit. And I'm also going to switch from global to local. And you can see when I do that, the move gizmo changes. So when I change to local transform orientation, the move gizmo is in line with the object. And that's kind of what I want while I'm trying to do this here. So let's do that. Let's move it down some. As we said, we need to bring it down just a bit. And then maybe bring it into the door a little bit and rotate it. I think I want to rotate it around. Well, first of all, I want to rotate it around the x-axis, the local x-axis here. So I'll hit RX, and then I'll hold that shift key down and just slowly rotate it back like that. There we go. So that's kind of in line with it. And then let's move it back a bit so it's not intersecting here with that edge. Maybe down a bit. Yeah, so I think something like that. That looks pretty good. Okay. Oh, I've hidden these away, didn't I? Let me bring that back. Okay. So there's that front window. I think we can do pretty much the same thing with the back window. Let's give it a try. What I'll do is once again go back to the side view and wireframe, and let's create a polygon plane and get it to the shape here that we want. Now it looks like this one has kind of a cutoff angle here, but if I zoom in here, it doesn't look like it has that cutoff angle here. So it's really kind of up to us what we want to do. Well, let's get the polygon plane in and see what we want to do. The 3D cursor is over here right now. Let's put it back to the center of the grid temporarily. I'm going to press Shift S and hit the 1 key for cursor to world origin. And then let's go ahead and press Shift A, create a plane, RY90, and then let's hit G and move it up into here. Scale it down, and let's put it in place. I think I'll begin over here. Let's try this. And then let's tab into edit mode, hit the 1 key, and let's select these points and get them into place. Maybe I will just make it a sharp edge, the way it appears to me here. Let's try that. I'll move that to here. And I'll grab this point and move it down to here. All right, with that done, let's go ahead and tumble around. Go back to object mode, and I'll pull it back out to the side here. And now let's work on trying to extrude it out a bit. So once again, let's get that inset or that edge here. So tab into edit mode, select it in face mode, and I'll hit the I key and let's push in just a bit like that. Yeah, it's about like that. Looks like I have it a little bit more. Let me hit the S key and scale in just a little bit like that. Okay. And then let's extrude out. Now, I'm still in local mode, and theoretically it should be okay since it's probably still aligned to the global axis. I'm going to go ahead and change it back to global just in case. And I'll tab into object mode, and let's hit the N key, and let's take a look. Yeah, it's still pretty much aligned to the global axis. It's just 0 and 0 and 90 degrees that we turned it in the Y, so that should be fine. I'll tab into edit mode, hit the 3 key, and let's just extrude and pull straight out, and about like this. Now let's see how much we did it over here. Is that about right? And I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. There we go, something like that. And we could, once we get it on, we can always select the front and pull it out a bit to get it the same width or depth. So now we have this. Let's hit I and create that inset again. I'll hit E and push in. I'll hit I and take that in just a bit, and then I'll hit E and pull out again like this. There we go. So now we've got that window in place. Oh, we need that lip around the back now, don't we? So let's hit the 2 key. Let's press Alt and click that whole edge, and I'll hit E and X, and we'll pull it back in the X-axis. Maybe something like this, just so we have plenty to work with. And once again, I want to move that object origin to the center of this selection right here. So again, we'll press Shift S2, tab into object mode, and go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. There we go. So now, let's spin around to the back view. I'll press Control 1, and that spins us to the back view. And then I'll bring it in. Let's hit R and rotate it, kind of get it in line here, something like this. And then I'll switch from global to local, and let's push it in. Here we go. All right, let's see how we're doing here. We need to go in a little further. Something like that. We probably need to rotate in the local x-axis, RX, and I'll hit that Shift key to slow down the movement. Something like that. Looks like we're going to need to rotate it in the Y. Oh, it looks like it's off. We may have a little bit of trouble getting this in line here. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like back here is a little off now, doesn't it? So right up here, probably because of that point that we created, you know, that we had to move up here. But what would we have to do? Let's see. Well, everything looked, oh, see how this kind of goes in like this? Maybe we could pull that out a bit to put it more in line with the rest of the door. So let's try that. I'll go to edge mode, press Alt and click. And, oh, we don't need it all the way across. Let me do that again here. I'll just select this one. And one way to look inside of here is to press Alt-Z. If you press Alt-Z, you can see kind of a ghost image of it. It's kind of wireframe, kind of solid. So that's going to help us take a look at this. So what I can do is just press Control and click this edge right here, and that just selects those edges. Now I can press Alt-Z and go back to solid mode. I'm going to go to global here, and then I'm going to pull out just a little bit like this. Okay, because I want it in line with this. See how this is pulled out here? I want to do the similar thing right here. Like that. And then let's go ahead and get this one here. I will grab that edge and this edge, and let's pull this one out just a little bit more too. So these three edges, and let's just pull this out and see if that helps at all. All right, let's go back to object mode and let's take a look at it. Here we go. I'll move the cursor, Shift S1, and that takes it down to the center of the grid. And there we go. We've got our windows. We can always take these and join them together with Control J, and then move that origin to the 3D cursor. Object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And then we can mirror these. Let's do that. Add modifier, mirror. And look at what happened. They're down here. Why did that happen? Why aren't they over here? Well, we've got the x-axis turned on, but we haven't applied the rotation and scale to these yet. If we hit the N key, you can see that the rotation is non-uniform. And it's this rotation that's making the mirror go down below the grid. So to fix this, what we can do is we can actually just apply the rotation. Well, let's try that. And while we're doing it, let's go ahead and apply the scale too. I'll press Control A, and I'll just do the rotation, and let's see what happens. There we go. Now we've got the rotation at zeros, and there are the windows. So that's all it was. We can also apply the scale here, but honestly, it's not going to matter a whole lot. We're going to be combining and recombining things before we're all done with this project. So I'll leave it like that for now.